Hello everyone, I'm Timothy. So I'll talk about, start with the statistics. So how will automation impact your business? 93% of organizations say that automation kickstarts digital transformation. Okay, so what can automation do for you? Let's start with some stats first. So how will automation impact your business? Now, 93% of organizations say that automation kickstarts digital transformation. Okay, what can automation do for you? Robotic process automation. Let's talk about what that is first. So what this is human emulation by doing, it could do UI-based mouse macros, etc., UI-based clicks, manual repetitive tasks. And based on decisions on set rules, we can have a framework in which the robot can run in. And lastly, with the seamless integration with existing applications is a backdoor end-to-end, point-to-point integration that is outside of the human emulation. So the combination of all three is the robotic process automation. Now, let's talk about the customer outcomes, or what I like to call RPA drivers. What they are is that it accelerates the benefits you have from digital transformation. It also improves customer experiences. It reduces compliance and cost risks. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And it also increases employee satisfaction and engagement. The reason being, you would take off their workload, mundane and laborious tasks. Okay, so now I'll go quickly to introduce you to one specific item, which will run Excel macros and also send an updated report to the manager. So a daily use case for this is that you might have a lot of Excel data, which is need to be in a specific format, sent to as reports to managers. And they can be of different varieties. It could be a finance-driven report, and then you have P&L reports and balance sheet reports, and also financial statements, and also in different segments or in different charts that you need to see. And what the macros are doing, and hopefully your company already has some other macros that might need to run and in a daily case to just be executed, and then update some values, perhaps even if you have connections with Access or other databases that you might have. What the robot can do is it can also run those Excel macros, and it can also do these tasks routinely. Okay, so without further ado, let me show you Adam. Okay, so within this UiPath Studio workflow, we have first 3 different tasks. We have one which open the Excel and then run the macro. We will send the email to the manager, and this sending email is via a webmail, but there is also integration with Outlook. After that, it will move the file from to process folder to a completed folder, and afterwards it would check job completed. So first we will open the Excel file and show you what the file looks like. We will demonstrate some macros today, but it's just a very simple formatting type of macros. But for within your business use case, it can also have variables, and it can do calculations, just up to what your current macros are doing. I'll also show you that the completed folder currently is empty, and when the when the execution is complete, it will move to the completed folder. So again, open Excel and run macro, send the email via webmail, and then we will move the file. Okay, so the bot will run, and as you can see, it did some macros. This is recorded in real time and not speeded up. So what it will do, it will go to our webmail, will log in, and then it would attach the file. It will send it, paste some values, and then log out. And there it is, it's complete. So imagine your daily task could have been, you have to do this 14 times or 15 times, and the robot will definitely be faster than a human in terms of the speed of the clicks, etc. And if the tasks are mundane and laborious, then you would want to have the robot do instead of you. So here we open the file just to validate that, okay, the macro has run, is now in the completed folder. And we receive some email from the bot saying, hey, look at the report. So this can all be done, and this can all be automated. So this is just one example of the automation. And hopefully by running the Excel macro, you have some more confidence that RPA can be a part of your business process. So let's also talk about what can be automated. So we gave an example of a finance record to report, but it can be further. It can be more than that. It can be a process to a procure to pay process where you can have purchase orders entered by and bills entered by the robot instead of by a human person, and the approval can be done by human instead. So you could have value added where you would take out the laborious work and have cognitive work done by the human. Or you can have order to cash process where the finance would essentially should only be approving the journals and not really creating the journals if there's an approval process in your system. So you can have a work being cut out and move to the robot where then the finance will have more time to do what they should be doing. In terms of other sectors, you can also have RPA conducted in supply chain, where you could have multiple systems. You could have a system and maintaining your inventory, and then you could also need to cross-check with your financial reporting system, where you could, before doing inventory adjustments or cost of goods sold, you could first check for if there's such inventory, or if you don't allow back orders, then maybe you should first check the system, and the robot could do that for you. Additionally, IT and support, there's also case management that you can do if you already have routines. In terms of HR, in our hiring and hiring process, you can have onboarding and offboarding. You can integrate the hiring process with a website via UI instead of via maybe web services. You can also do customer service. You can have chatbots, you can have surveys, and the bot can harvest the information and do that for you as well. So what can robots do? So let's get into detail of like the tasks of what they can do. So they can log into any application. This is via UI. It can, so for example, just now we logged into my webmail and they can send emails. It can move files and folders, and it can monitor them to process them when there are files. It can read and write to databases. For example, Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL, or not limited to, right? And also Oracle DB. It can also scrape data from the web. So we have a client that for regulation reasons want to do credit checks on all their vendors. And there's a Chinese government website that does that, has the information there. And so what we do is we data scrape the compliance and credibility checks on the web, and we put it in Excel. So there's also connect to system APIs. And in this regard, it's a non-UI based backdoor end-to-end connection. And I'll show you that there's already existing APIs that within the project, we don't need to develop extra things. And it's already available with UiPath. It can also extract content from documents, PDFs, emails, and forms. This could be structured data, like in a specific format and in a specific location, you always take those data. Or it could be unstructured data, where it could be you just want to harvest the date, the amount of an invoice, for example, or if you have tenancy agreements and you just want to take the terms and the tenant address and the duration of the tenancy agreement. So things like that, it can also extract the information. It can open emails and attachments and also download them. I just showed you, we can send emails with attachments, just an example. It can also make calculations. So these are the rule-based decisions that the robot can do. And based on, how many records there are, or what the amount of the invoice is, then how it handles the task could be different. So there could be different amounts, and then you have different approvals. Or if it's very petty and you just no longer want it in approval flow, then the robot can take it out for you. So in here, I would like to just talk about what robots and humans can do together. So this is our focus is that we want to release the human value of cognitive and also creative values that a user can have, and by releasing the laborious tasks to the robot to do. So in here, we recommend 2 different types to start off with. And as your RPA strategy or experience get higher, then you can look into unattended automation, which is just a full automation. So within the attended on demand is you have users which partially look at the robot. They're not really maintaining the robot, but they're looking at the robots for when there's decisions to be made. And sometimes it could be user exceptions or a hybrid case where it requires a user's input, but the process could be executed not on the same place as the user's computer, and in which case some of the information, due to maybe compliance reasons, can be run in the background whilst having the user input on the foreground. So it is kind of like a segregation of and a protection of who can see the information and when they can see the information. So I guess let me talk more about UiPath. So UiPath, which is what this RPA software we are recommending, is a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. It is also a Forrester Wave leader in Q4 2019, if you can see here. UiPath itself is a global company, a global billion-dollar company, with also a Hong Kong office. So there's local presence in Hong Kong. And so you will get plentiful support. And also just more ratings as a reassurance. And these are the labels that UiPath are the companies that are currently using UiPath. So you will be in good company in joining them. Okay, so I think enough about UiPath. We will talk about the One-Pack rapid pilot approach. This is our One-Pack RPA solution, in which it's quick and easy. We believe in a quick implementation for the maximizing the ROI, the return of investment. In terms of the rapid pilot approach, we believe 2 to 3 processes to start off with. And as we go on, we also have a larger RPA strategy where in this case, then later on, if you're interested, we can go further. So how UiPath and RPA works, in terms of breaking it down, the UiPath has a workflow designer, which I showed you with Adam. It's a studio designer. You design the workflow of what the robot will do. And the UI is actually relatively user-friendly compared to, I guess, UiPath's competitors. The UiPath robot also runs in the background, and it executes the commands. There's what I call the mothership, which is the UiPath orchestrator. It is the platform in which you can control all the robots. You see the statistics. You can remote control. You monitor them, and this is more, I guess, for if you have multiple sites as well, and then you have multiple machines deployed to multiple sites. Then you have something to oversee all of them. So I would like to talk further on the UiPath custom activities. This is the end-to-end point-to-point back-end integration, which is already included within the UiPath. So within the UiPath custom activities, you can see that there's already an existing integration with Salesforce. There's already an existing connection with Oracle database. There's already a connection with Power BI if you want to, and there's already a connection with Oracle NetSuite. So within Oracle NetSuite, you can already do you can get the values of the records, which you compare maybe with a different system. You could create sales orders, you could create leads, and this minimizes the UI element of UiPath, and it reduces errors in the sense where it's only and it could be cumbersome. In fact, cumbersome if you do UI-based moving of data. So what you can do is via these custom activities, you can already do it in the back point-to-point. And all it takes is basically an integration, and the user can use these activities, which are very friendly. These activities, which are just a task called, for example, create sales order, and it will create a sales order. So it's very, very, very user-friendly. So I guess here I would like to just do a small summary of RPA and my opinion, what the RPA drivers are and the benefits. So I would take this as a small summary. So a bit of brain food for thought, a bit of something to chew on as we think about RPA. So I see RPA as a delegation of work. And what this means is that we are releasing mundane laborious tasks from human users. And it also, to give an example, is if you have sales orders or etc. in your order to cash procedure, which is non-posting, then this should not have been part of finance's work. And maybe what the finance should do is, by their, by how much they are worth, they shouldn't be posting, doing the posting, and in fact they should be validating the posting. So the other I can see is as the risk aversion, and what this means is that the bots itself can already do maker checker validations, and this carries forward from the first point, which is that the creation of such journals or records in your systems should not have been by humans, but instead it could have been by bots. And the bots could validate what the records were created. So for example, if I wanted to do an inventory adjustment and my inventory is in a different system, I could already have checked if I have enough inventory in my other system before I post into my system. And at a later date, perhaps you could also do this check again and see if it's still true. And in the case where if your company doesn't allow back orders, then these validations you can take, and already you can do a block. You can do a block to say that and or flag to say that hey, please look at this to the user. So thirdly, I think it's a compliance control. It's about who can see what information. For example, you wouldn't want your users to look at your client's credit card information, but how would you delete them, for example, and stuff like that. In very modern terms, the handling of data is increasingly important, and it's how you deal with this compliance that RPA can really help. And lastly, I would just like to point out that perhaps this is the talking point of how you do a coherent cross-department bridge. So what I mean is, since now when you do home office, how do your departments talk to each other? Is there new processes that can be taken to place where your different departments, okay, they run perfectly on their own, but how does it all join together? And I think this is where RPA can really shine in, where you can bring food for thought just to think about what this process and what this framework of what the bot can run can really be. Okay, so after giving a small summary of RPA, it's time for NetSuite Suite Analytics. So we talked about this custom activity that could, as you can see down here, can also do searches, you can get records, it can update records, it can create your records in sales orders, for example, or if you create new leads. And after all this data is in your ERP, what benefit do you have? Well, you have Suite Analytics BI. Okay, what Suite Analytics BI is a powerful business intelligence application that is free once you already get NetSuite. And the BI tool is the analytic tool, so you can delve deep inside and see the information and trends. So and also it can look at company performance across multiple subsidiaries, or if you want to look at it consolidated, you can also do that. There's something called the subsidiary navigator that will also change the dashboard. So within the Suite Analytic dashboard, as you can see, very highly graphical and no boring data. So you can always look at interesting insights and not be bored with it. And you can look at different KPIs. You can look at, if there's extra sales today, new leads, who did the new leads, what's the revenue like compared and to before, and if there's like a reduction in your expenses, etc. So all of this, and you can also take a look at, for example, if you're interested in what products you do the best, and you could be surprised. It could be surprised to what product is doing the best currently or a month before. So you can, there's also some comparison that you can do with the Suite Analytics dashboard. So Suite Analytics BI is not just that, it also has what we call the workbook. And within the workbook, it is a powerful tool that you can compare and do cross joins of different sets of data. So why we would want to do that is when you want to do relatable data, but it might not be completely related. So for example, you could want to know which sales sells what the best, for example, stuff like that. And when you want to do query like that, you can use Suite Analytics BI. So within, you can do data exploration, multi-level joins. So multi-level joins is when you can drill down more than one layer. For example, if you want to know this sales is this items revenues something, which is a bit beyond me currently, but you can also do that. You can do pivot tables, and there's already some built-in workbooks that you can use, particularly on sales. And within the, you can also query on custom records. So you have record types that, it's within your company. It's like you hold maybe bonuses or how much, what levels of extra bonus you'd give, or other employee type records. You could also do data exploration there. You could do filters, just much like Excel. You can do formatting, and you can build your criteria, and you can save it. So, next time you'll just open this workbook and you can see this information already. And you don't need to rebuild whatever data join you need to do. So that's great. And more about modern day data reporting is definitely no longer numbers, because people don't absorb numbers as well, and we all know that. So within Suite Analytics BI, look at pie charts, look at bar charts, look at trends, and then you just get it. So lastly, just want to say small automation makes huge difference, and Adam said that. So let's look at some stats. So RPA prowess, Adam, for our internal super Adam, we have 445% productivity per staff, 82% speed increase per transaction. So so I just give you some numbers. currently, previously, what the user would do in terms of what the process was to enter leads. It would take the user maybe 6.5 to 7.5 minutes per record. And we have about, let's say, 20, 30 every 3 days or so. So something like, 20 a day, something around that margin. And the robot can do it in roughly 70 something, 80 seconds. So that's about the margin we are talking about. So, and Adam is available 7 days and 24-hour, crazy shifts, and no holidays also if you schedule it. So yeah, and Adam doesn't just do one thing. It can do multiple things, and I think that's extra benefits you're getting from the robot. Okay, so next steps for you. This is our checklists. One Pack Ask a Pro. So take this screenshot of this QR code right now, and then you can come ask us on any other useful things. And maybe if you just want a casual discussion about my small takeaways, the delegation of work, the risk aversion, the control and compliance, and or cross department bridges. So if you just are interested, just give us an email and then we will reply to you. Take a look at your business process, your current processes. Take a look at the systems. Take a look at if you have OCR, which we didn't mention, but if you have OCR, take a look at your sample documents. Take a look at the users involved, and also think about the quick deployment. So currently in our usual very small case processes, it would take like about 4 to 5 days per process. So that's the time frames that we are talking about. But think about these things, and it will surprise you. It will surprise you how much benefit you get. Okay, call us and email us now. And thank you for attending us today. That's all from me. Thank you.